This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Coming up next, we've got Manny Fernandez and Baron von Raschke. It's a loaded glove on a pole match. With this, the pole being set up and all that, would that have been a Klondike Bill deal, Tony?
Yeah, Klondike would have been in charge, or his staff would have been in charge of all of that.
The first man to retrieve the.
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
Well, with this Klondike stunt, because you got to remember, Wally Dusick is sitting there, and I was watching. Jackie helped put that pole up.
Right. So yeah, you're probably right.
Sure I'm not sure. You could roll it back and take a look, see who was setting it up.
Yeah, we'll look. We'll look when the cage, but you're probably right. It was probably Wally Dusick's crew, and Klondike. I did travel with Klondike some and put up the ring with him and learned how to put up the ring amongst other things with Klondike, and that was
the golden shower.
Yeah, yes.
The golden shower.
Yeah, the golden shower and the glass bottom boat, the coffee table. That's been,
by the way,
that's been well established. So there you see the glove on top of the pole. And Conrad, you want to track it and see if we are doing commentary in this?
Sure.
See what we got.
Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
Now maybe we just did commentary for that main event. I think we did commentary for the main event. So
the main event is going to have clips on TV that you guys would air. So it feels like you would have certainly done that since it's a title change.
Right.
We're quite a ways from the title change, but this is probably one of, if not the most historic show from the 86 tour. Of course, the Charlotte one we saw where Flair landed in a helicopter gets a ton of coverage these days. But whenever there's an NWA title change, especially in 86, it's a big doggone deal. But there's been a theory out there, David, that we'd love to hear your 2 cents on. Tony believed that the original plan perhaps was to have the title switched at Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta, but perhaps because some of the stadium shows weren't drawing as well, maybe it made sense to go ahead and switch the title here to sort of pump up ticket sales for the second leg of the tour. Does that make sense to you, or do you remember ever hearing that Atlanta was the plan?
As far as switching it?
Yes, sir.
I really think this was the plan to do it in Greensboro, just because Greensboro, again, we go back, that's the Mecca. That's the place that the fans were electric. And this would drive the TV, would drive wrestling. Plus, we're filming it. If we go to the Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, then that's a whole different ballgame. Is trying to shoot it with cameras.
Right.
What if it rained?
Right.
What if lightning? We had to stop. It didn't work. So we really need to do it inside.
That makes sense.
Yeah. We had to tape it, and so this was the best place to tape it.
We've had a lot of fun this year, David, just watching the old studio show from 86. And we noticed very early on that at some point in most of Manny Fernandez's promos, he would be sure to give a shout out to San Antone and then do part of the speech or his rap in Spanish. But I'm curious, what was the rationale? Do you recall why he would always mention San Antone?
I do not know.
We had to run a house show there. I would think. That's the only thing I could think. Because I know David, we went out. I remember we went to the Tingley Coliseum in Albuquerque. I remember we went to somewhere in New Mexico and did a house show there because I was a ring announcer there. Obviously, went out to San Francisco and L.A. at the Forum. So I just had to feel that San Antonio was a part of our tour.
May, June,
August. Joe Blanchard, Kelly's dad, had a lot to do with San Antonio. So to work with him, we did it.
What was the experience like working with Baron von Raschke? Tony has told some stories here before that hearing him communicating with Tony, quote unquote, out of character is one of the first mind blowing moments of Tony's time sort of behind the scenes. How was quote unquote Jim in this era?
You mean as far as being so intelligent?
Yeah, I mean, he's totally different from character.
Oh yeah, totally. You know, the claw and the accent. No, he was quiet, sort of, soft toned voice.
Yeah, I know.
Really did yell. If anything, he sort of kept to himself. He had a dry wit to me, and just all around nice guy.
Yeah. Just an amazing performer too, David. I mean, if you think about his longevity, I know he worked for Crockett Promotions back in the 70s. I remember that as a fan. And then here he is once again. Of course, he had a big run up in Minnesota at the AWA, and he had that Baron, that Nazi-ish character that was so completely different than who he really was. And that's one of the things that amazed me about him. And I guess you could say the same thing about Ivan Koloff and any of the guys who had were just different than their persona in the ring. But he was like, when I first heard him talk, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I couldn't believe that a man could do this, stomp around with the claw and then be so soft-spoken. But he was an amazing guy. And is. I mean, he's still with us.
Oh, yes. Now, see, the claw, none of the guys like to submit to the claw.
Because it's stupid.
They just, they just don't like it. They'd rather be pinned than submit.
The claw is not stupid, Conrad. You and I have argued about that a long time. My favorite wrestler of all time, Blackjack Mulligan, he used to take the claw and he used to put it on them and they would go out.
Yeah, and then Santa Claus would come visit you.
And what about Fritz von Erich and his claw? Huh? What about that? Barry Windham used the claw. Some of the great wrestlers. Look at this. Look what the claw is doing to the face of Manny Fernandez. Okay, there you go. And look how his hands are wrapped around. He's got that little finger across the temple of Manny Fernandez. Man, I tell you what, David, when I was a wrestling fan, holy smokes, I was into that. Hey, David, Paul Jones had been a part of Jim Crockett Promotions for a long, long time, and Paul's no longer with us. And then I got to know Paul. I got to know his wife, Linda. And Paul was really big into Amway, as we all know. Paul was an interesting character. I never thought he had the greatest personality on camera, but boy.
Let my family save your family some cash. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need money out of your pocket, but we will save you money. It's not a matter if, it's a matter of how much. SaveWithConrad.com.
He could always work a great match for you. He was pretty solid when it came to that.
Yeah, he did not have the charisma on camera. He a lot of times would repeat himself, I guess you might say, the same stick.
Yeah.
But good worker. He also had a garage shop repairing cars.
Didn't know that.
Yes.
And now, did he have that in Charlotte?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
It was over off of Old Pineville Road.
Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah.
How about that? So yeah, he was Paul was into a lot of different things, and I really enjoyed my time with Paul. I really did. I thought he was, and of course, man, he was a great heel and a big baby face at one time, and just a good guy to be around. And that was one of the things that David that I loved about what we did back in the day. And of course, I didn't travel with the boys all the time, but I thought we had a really good crew of guys, and that really seemed to get along. I know there was obviously some problems that some of the guys had with, again, payoffs and again, booking. Why am I getting booked like this? And why is Dusty always booking himself up top? But overall, I thought the 80s, it'll go back as my favorite years ever in wrestling. It really will be.
Well, I have to say that the 80s was a better year for us. all of them. Paul enjoyed being a heel more than a babyface.
Yeah.
But, he could really, the goody two shoes really didn't fit him, his personality.
Sure.
All right. But the 80s were, yes, we were going strong.
Yeah, we really were.
And here comes the big glove. The Baron has it, putting it on the right hand. He's set to go to work now on Manny Fernandez.
Oh, he's got it.
Flying burrito.
The flying burrito.
Big pop for Manny.
Yeah, man.
Here comes Paul Jones.
Yeah, look at the fans. The fans are just like, they are into everything that we are doing. Just didn't have to sweeten the crowd back then, David, for TV. The crowd was there for you, buddy.
Oh, man, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one reason we kept the fans so far back is they give us a little time to catch them before they got in the ring.
Right.
He wasn't the fastest guy around.
Right.
Just over 8 minutes in that match. Coming up next, we've got Wahoo McDaniel and Jimmy Garvin in an Indian strap match. You guys in 86 brought Jimmy Garvin in. Do you recall the details of how that went down? Did he call you looking for work, or did y'all go recruit him? I know once upon a time he and Steve Riggle were a tag team in the AWA. And from your perspective, do you remember how Garvin came in?
It was a call, that they pass. Wrestlers would pass word if somebody's coming in, or they know somebody. Say, hey, I'm finishing up here in this territory or this area. You can't say territory. All right, in this area, our matches are through. Hey, how about you think there might be a place for me, in Mid-Atlantic? And so they talk and we'd see who's going to go out. So because somebody has to go out for somebody to come in.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how it works.
Right. Here's a good look at the arena and of course the lights that you talked about being on poles. And here's Tom Miller again. I can't get enough of him, guys.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.